Hello, I am Grant Thompson. I am one of the co-leads on the USDA SCRI Specialty Crop Research Initiative project, where we're looking at urban tree diversity and resiliency. And we had a Zoom call on January 20th, where we invited our stakeholder advisory board to come learn a little more about the project, our research team, and to discuss that with us. Unfortunately, the beginning of that call where I introduced the research team was not recorded. So I am recording this separately, and it will be added to the remainder of the call and shared with our other advisory members who were unable to join us live for that event. So with that, I would like to introduce the members of our research team so that everyone is aware of who we have as part of the group. So first of all, many of you probably have already received communication from Linda Brewer at Oregon State University. She is both our behind the scenes organizer as well as our communications person to all of you. She has a lot of experience with these large USDA grants in a number of different capacities and has been doing so for about the last 15 years. She's involved with managing teams of researchers, evaluating the outcomes of their work and passing that along. So we're happy to have Linda facilitating not only the behind the scenes stuff with the researchers, but a lot of the in front of the stuff that all of the rest of you see. From the University of Georgia Agriculture and Applied Economics Department, we have Benjamin Campbell. He is an expert in consumer behavior, marketing, and supply chain management. He looks at consumer preferences and how those relate to both horticultural and agricultural commodities. And he also researches different barriers associated with new and emerging commodities. So since we know that economics is certainly going to be a part of the things that we need to look at, Ben will be handling some of that work. From the University of Florida School of Forestry, we have Maisha Clark. Maisha is a natural resources social scientist, and she looks at the human dimensions of forest management. We know that forests are a social and ecological system, so the role of humans in shaping those urban forests is certainly important. In her work, Maisha uses qualitative and quantitative methodologies, so works with focus groups and surveys and interviews, and helped develop the protocols that we will be using on the research side when we work with our different focus groups to identify emergent themes and such that we might be looking at. From Oregon State University Department of Horticulture, we have Ryan Contreras. Ryan is a tree and shrub breeding expert and geneticist. He works closely with different wholesale nurseries to identify research priorities for his programs and to see how his work might benefit those growers. From Many Trees Consulting, we have Deb Hilbert. She is a PhD, and she has worked with urban forest diversity and infrastructure conflicts. So not only looking at what trees we have in a forest, but where some of those green infrastructure, our trees might come into conflict with different kinds of gray infrastructure, pavements, and et cetera. In her work, she has also done stuff with focus group research for a statewide project across Florida, which she'll be talking about a little bit later, not only the methodologies that she used, but some of the findings that she came up with. And part of what we're doing with this SCRI project is really taking that Florida model, at least for conducting the research, and expanding it to the nationwide program that we'll be conducting and am in the middle of conducting. She uses these different skill sets to not only facilitate those focus group conversations, but also to communicate that to our advisory group and amongst the research team. From the University of Hawaii, we have Andy Kaufman. He is in the tropical agriculture program there, and he studies the connections between plants, outdoor landscape, and human responses. He has a background in landscape design and management, and is a landscape architect. And he studies the connection between urban green spaces and human health. So really that human and landscape interaction component. From the University of Florida Gulf Coast Research Center, we have Andrew Kosher. Andrew is the co-lead on this project along with me. He has a background in arboriculture and urban forestry as a researcher. And prior to coming back to academia, his nonprofit experience as the science and research manager for the International Society of Arboriculture, ISA. He studies the impact of local and regional governance on urban forest condition and composition. So looking at where policy has an influence on our urban forests. From Brigham Young University, we have Ryan Stewart, and he researches different novel plants that might be good for introduction and production in horticultural and agricultural systems. He is a plant propagation expert, and he really focuses on identifying potential introductions from arid environments such as the Intermountain West, where he happens to be located. Finally, I'm Grant Thompson. I'm at the Department of Horticulture at Iowa State University, the other co-lead on this project. And my research area is in sustainable landscape management, in particular, how we produce trees and how production affects their establishment in the landscape. I am also a licensed landscape architect with industry experience. So that's the research team, and we will be joining the rest of the recorded presentation, introducing the advisory council and how we'll be conducting this project. Thank you very much.